Trolls. Not just the botherers of bridge travelers and the subject of the worst film of all time anymore. Trolling other players is now as deeply ingrained in gaming as checkpoints or homophobic slurring, but it's not just in a player versus player context anymore, as games themselves have a long track record of, well, for lack of better words, f***ing with their audience. From fake crashes to character swaps, we're going to look at some of the best, or should it be worst, together. Either way, and with this in mind, I'm Jules, your Southwest Savage, and these are 10 video games that totally trolled players. Number 10. Batman Arkham Asylum Game Crash. So I'm actually going to lump a few games together in this entry, as titles like Eternal Darkness and Metal Gear have pulled the old you by making a game fake a crash. But Batman Arkham Asylum takes the biscuit with its portrayal of a severe game break, as it not only freezes in a rather convincing manner, but when the game reboots, you're now in a role reversal situation with the Joker as he carts you off to the nut house. We've covered this section before, so I won't go over old ground, but needless to say, that message to use the middle stick to avoid the gunshot is a tasty troll from the devs indeed. Number 9. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels Poison Mushrooms. Super Mario Bros. Is, in my mind, an insanely good example on how to introduce players to a new game. At the start, there's only one direction to go. You're fed items and enemies in a way that makes sense, and the level is designed in a way that encourages mechanics to be explored. Then Super Mario Bros. 2 comes along and took this gentle concept and stuck a giant middle finger in the opening level, in the form of this poison mushroom. It wouldn't have been so bad if it wasn't the very first box of the game as well. This little bastard probably took the lives of so many gamers young and old, and all the while Miyamoto was probably laughing his ass off. Number 8. Mortal Kombat 2 KANO Transformations. So we all know the rumor mill that sprung up around Ermac in the original Mortal Kombat arcade unit, and how the fervor around him eventually turned him into a real-life character further down the line. Well, because of the eagle-eyed gamers who spotted the Ermac term, this led the devs to put more content like this in their future games, one of which was a big teabag of a troll, as there's a section in Mortal Kombat 2 for KANO Transformations. Kano was one of the most popular characters in the first game, and he was one of two, along with Sonya Blade, that didn't make it into the sequel. This led fans to go absolutely mental as they tried everything to turn their characters into the cyborg killer, but all it really got them was carpal tunnel and an empty wallet, as he was nowhere to be found. Number 7. Ghosts and Goblins Fake Ending. This one just stings, as if it wasn't difficult enough just to get to the ending of Ghosts and or Goblins in the first place. But if you didn't do some very specific things, you'd be kicked out to the beginning of the level. What you had to do was grab this shield, which is weaker than my hairline, beat the level without running out the timer, and defeat Satan at the end. And what did you get for mastering this gauntlet of pain and sorrow? A fake f***ing ending that makes you go back and beat the whole f***ing game again! No, I refuse! I'm done! Number 6. Street Fighter 2 Shenlong. You must defeat Shenlong to stand a chance. These are the immortal words uttered by Ryu in Street Fighter 2 that drove the gaming world mad. Just who was Shenlong? Well, according to Electronic Gaming Monthly, not only was Shenlong the name of Ken and Ryu's master, but he was actually in the game. They published elaborate instructions with photographic proof, and it led to thousands of gamers trying to unlock a fight to the death against him. But there's just one problem. This was actually an April issue of the magazine. Therefore, it was an unannounced April Fool's joke that took months to debunk, with even the American branch of Capcom thinking that he was real and not just a bad mistranslation of Rising Dragon Punch. Oh, Electronic Gaming Monthly, you got us good. You. Number 5. X-Men Reset the Computer. Another game that was insanely great but absolutely rock solid was Sega's X-Men. In this exclusive title, you and the rest of your mutant squad tear shit up against an overwhelming amount of challenging enemies and bosses that will make you want to wail. But the weirdest moment comes from when you beat the boss Mojo. You're suddenly asked to reset the computer without the game offering any hint as to what that could mean. As this was a dead end in the level, many players probably thought that this was the end of their experience and just shut the bitch down. But it turns out that you're meant to do a soft reset of the console in order to continue. Now, two things about this. One, there's no indication that a soft reset is even possible and has never been mentioned before. And two, if you so much as do anything other than press the button lighter than one of Peter Austin's slaps, then you'll reset the game proper and lose all your progress. Ouch. Number 4. Penn and Teller's Smoke and Mirrors Desert Bus. Desert Bus was effectively a prank devised by magicians Penn and Teller, wherein anyone unlucky enough to play the game has to drive an empty bus in the desert for 8 real-time hours in order to reach their destination. Also, the bus has to constantly be steered back onto the road, so you couldn't even leave the game running. The game was part of a collection called Smoke and Mirrors and was sent out to review teams across the globe. The publisher of the game actually went out of business before the game even released, meaning that the prank was only truly on certain review outlets until it was finally released back in 2018. 2013. Oh, the joy those unsuspecting people must have experienced. Number 3. Grand Theft Auto 5 EPSILON Program Missions. For a game that's built on taking the piss, there is one moment in particular which stands above the rest. In GTA 5, you can join the EPSILON program, which is the game's skewed take on Scientology, complete with weird celebrities, excessive amounts of money, and just a general level of creepiness about the whole thing. Now, a lot is built up about the mysterious cult, and you even have to complete a bizarre questionnaire to join them. But when you get the missions, my god, are they designed to antagonize. From gathering vehicles to wearing the EPSILON robes for 10 in-game days straight to a 5-mile run in the desert, all are exercises in patience and faith. Or should it be gullibility? Oh well, at least you get a sweet tractor out of it. Number 2. Leisure Suit Larry. Everything. This one is just hilarious. In a game in which you're basically trying to anything that moves, it's the player that truly gets shafted, for if you try and do basically anything, the game will kill you in strange and often hilarious ways. Try to cross the street, you get hit by a taxi and die. Try to lose your virginity to a prostitute, you get a sexually transmitted disease and die. Get the idea? It even gets worse in the sequel, where if you did anything wrong, the game would end. And because it was built on inferior technology, aka multiple discs, that meant you had to go and start from the very bloody beginning again. And number 1, Metal Gear Solid 2 Raiden. Remember being a wee little spit stain and playing the demo for Metal Gear Solid 2, sneaking around a snake on a ship, silently taking out guards, and generally just being an outstanding piece of tech? The demo made sure that any snakes after playing were far from liquid. Then the game launched, and after players got through this section, shit hit the King fan. Snake was suddenly replaced with the effeminate and whiny Raiden for the entirety of the game. It was such a shock, as all the press up to this point had not even hinted at another playable character, let alone one that was apparently designed after Kojima received a letter from a young girl saying she didn't want to play as an old man, so built him as a result. Either way, it was such a good troll, leading players one way, then utterly dicking them the next. And look at Raiden now, a firm fan favourite, although he did have to lose quite a lot of himself to get to that stage. And that's our list. Got any more times when games utterly trolled their audience? Well, let me know about them in the comments section below. Then you should drop back to whatculture.com for more news and articles like this every goddamn day. Then go and follow us on the Twitters here, go on, you know you want to. And as always, I've been Jules, you've been awesome, and I'll speak to you soon.